We are co-directors for GLOW, which is a national project through Peace Corps Swaziland that targets the empowerment and education of Swazi girls and youth.
Our primary focus, though, we work on building the capacity of the counselors. So we hold a bunch of national trainings where they all come together and learn how they can better support, assist, and teach the girls on their local level. So I think one of my favorite memories, we recently had a new counselor orientation where new PCVs and even old counselors identified new counselors that want to start clubs. And it was really great watching the women who ran it because we were almost like not needed.
Yeah.
We just like, they came to a point where like they knew exactly what they wanted to teach. They know GLOW better than we do at this point, and seeing them have the skills now to be able to put on their own training was really cool. It's like we've done what we needed to do.
I think my favorite project we've done is with GLOW Camp this year. We had a Black Girl Magic Day, which was in lieu of a community project. And the women put together basically a day that celebrates the racial identities of Swazi girls and women. And so we had different sessions from skincare to hair care to different art activities that help girls celebrate who they are as Swazi girls, as Black girls. And it was really nice to see, girls and women in Swaziland and amongst the PCVs as American girls and women to come together and celebrate who we are, affirm each other and ourselves. It was a really fun day.
It was really special. I got to have girls from my club at that day. And so one of my girls from my community, she was like, Cece, I used to want my skin to be your color. I would wear these long sleeves and long pants to block out the sun, and now I know I am beautiful how I am. And it was just like really amazing to hear those stories and see them really like coming through and like loving themselves. So
yeah, it's a really empowering project.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my most memorable experience was right after the election. I woke up and I wasn't particularly happy, and so I wanted to like sit inside my hut all day. But eventually I had to leave my hut to go to the bathroom. And on the way out, my mage, my host mother, saw me and said, "Hey, hi Zweli." And I'm like, I don't want to talk today. And she's like, "Oh, okay, but the turkey just got killed." And I was like, "What?" And so she's like, yeah, a snake must have killed it. It's still over there. We need to go get it. So I'm, okay. So I forget about the bathroom and I go over there, and there's a turkey lying on the ground amongst some brush. And she says, okay, there are eggs under the turkey. We have to grab them and then we can eat the turkey. It just died, so it should be fine. So I go over and she's like, okay, grab the turkey, I'll get the eggs. And I pick up the turkey and there is a cobra underneath the turkey who is not happy that we have taken its meal from it. So it slithers over my foot and into its hole. And I drop the turkey, Mage like screams and jumps back. And I say, well, what? And she says, well, I don't know. And so we grab the turkey again, we grab the eggs, and we go back inside. And she says, well, I guess we have to kill the snake now, because otherwise it will come back and get more, because we saw where it lived and it will move its hole. So we boiled a bunch of water in a pot, and I grabbed a shovel, and we went out back to the spot, and we looked and we could see its head in the hole. And Mage kind of inched close with the pot of water, and then the snake moved a little and she dropped the water and ran away. She said, okay, I got this. So I picked up the water and I poured it down the hole, and the snake started writhing, so I took the shovel and I slammed it through and hit it a bunch of times. And then I dug out the snake and I picked it up, and it turns out it was a Mozambican spitting cobra. So I should have been wearing glasses because that would have been bad. And then I cut off the head and I put it on a post so the other snakes would know not to come. Because I like snakes, but not when they kill our turkeys and possibly the little kids. So the other snakes, and as far as I'm aware, the snakes haven't come back after they saw the snake head. Then we went and we plucked the turkey, and we took out the part that was bitten, and it was like getting all big and gross, and we took that part out, and I stuffed the turkey and ate it, and I forgot all about the election, and it was a wonderful day.
Nice story.
Thank you.
There's a character here called Kagechani, which is like a little rabbit, right? Kagechani is like a clever rabbit that is a little bit evil, but is in a lot of children's stories. Mm-hmm. So whenever I'm with like my Swazi counterparts, or like at a dinner table, and it's just me, my family, or other Swazis, not Americans or Peace Corps volunteers, I always bring up Kage Chani and ask people to tell me stories. And normally at dinner, people are quiet. Like Swazis, we sit down and we eat our food.
Yeah.
Right? And then it's done.
Right.
Instead, I coax people out and I say, Kage Chani, he ate gogo, right? He cooked gogo, grandma, and fed the grandmother to the children, right? There's a song about that, right? And then they find the song, and then they start like coming up with their own stories, and suddenly like I have an hour and a half long conversation, and I get stories from them as well. So I think the storytelling that you really have to kind of coax out of people is probably my favorite thing here in Swaziland.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I definitely think my go-go is my hero at site. She is just like so awesome. She's like out there working in the fields. Like you cannot stop that woman. Like she will just keep on moving. Nothing stops her. And it's just like, she's also so welcoming, and she always reminds me how I'm like one of her children, and you know, she just has always made me feel so welcome at site.
Go-Go are the
Yes,
best.
they are
My
the best.
answer would be exactly the same. My Go-Go has raised 9 of her own children. She currently has, at any given time, between 6 and 12 grandchildren living with her, plus 4 OVCs who live on our homestead full-time, who are not a part of our family, but who she's taken in because she feels like she can share what she has with them. She's awesome, and all like she's still going and still doing all these things and still involved with the little kids, but also I'll see some of her older children and just people in the community come back to talk to her and get her advice on things.
Mamage was definitely someone very special to me at my training site because she thought I was first. She thought I was 12 and did not understand why my parents in America would let me come to Swaziland by myself. And I had to keep explaining to her, at the time I was 22, that I was like, Mage, I'm 22. I am 22, I can be here, and she could not believe it. She also, she refused to let me eat dinner by myself, and like insisted that she cooked for me every night, and she like would make a mountain of food so that I could grow. And I kept explaining to her, I was like, Mage, this is as big as I'm gonna get. This is what you got. And she just like would not get it. And I remember one time I like didn't have my lunch that day because I dropped it or something, and so I was actually hungry for dinner, and I ate all the food that she put on the plate, and she was cheering and like singing. She was like, now you're gonna grow, and I was like, Mage, I'm not gonna grow, this is it. But yeah, so she was so awesome.
So you mentioned that I like eating lots of interesting foods, and I've had a lot of insects, and the first I went with my CC and we collected caterpillars, which are called manya manya, all along the riverbanks, and then we brought it back and we squeezed out the guts, and they're very spiky, so it really hurt. And then we put them in some water and put them over a fire, and then we ate them. And I felt like it was a whole family event, and it was really fun, and I really enjoyed myself, and it didn't feel the least bit awkward or uncomfortable. And that was, except for the poking, so that was really a nice integration time.
So when I first moved to Swaziland, the community we lived in for training in Sihohueni, I got put with just the best family ever. Not only were they super duper welcoming for me, but they also invited every Peace Corps volunteer in all of G14 over to do braais, to have my father, teach half of our group how to milk the cow. I had a scenario with them that they made me feel so very much part of the family, where shortly after we started training, my grandfather in the States passed away. And my family there at my training site, when they found out, they sat me down and told me that their entire family, when they found out, had sat in a prayer circle, and that even though they didn't know my grandfather, because they knew me and because I was a part of their family, he was a part of their family. So they really, it was a hard thing to be away from the States for, but they made me feel so much better about it. And I still when I'm having bad days, we'll go back to visit them, or I've spent Christmas with them 2 years in a row now. So like, the training communities set you up in a really, really good way and make Swaziland feel like home from day one.